Subaru just announced yesterday that orders for the 2026 model year Outback are finally open. So as of August 21st, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, here in the US, you can now order the new generation Outback. And I've got some notes here because there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of cool things coming. So I'm gonna share all the details with you guys today, including pricing, when we are expected to see these arrive at dealer lots, and some really cool new features and some change up in the trim lines. So there used to be 9 trim levels offered. Now there's only going to be 6, but we're gonna uncover all the details and share with you all the information we know so far on this new, highly anticipated Subaru Outback. If you are new here, my name is Alex. I work for a Subaru retailer, and I like to make videos each and every week on Subaru related topics. If you'd like to follow along, consider clicking that subscribe button down below. I know a lot of people are curious, so I'll answer this here at the beginning of the video. When are we going to be getting this first batch of 2026 Outbacks? Well, whenever I go into the order system for Subaru, it does say a projected arrival month of December 2025. So end of the year for most of these 2026 models. Now this can vary based on color, trim line, and your individual retailer. So you'll want to check with your local retailer to get more exact details for your particular order. So first up, one of the big announcements on this press release is that the starting trim line, so I mentioned that they're going to be removing a few trim lines. They're going to be removing the Onyx XT, which has the turbo engine, and they are removing the base trim. Now, it makes sense why they are removing the base trim because we honestly don't get a lot of orders for these unless we have a fleet company buying them. But other than that, we don't get a lot of base trim orders. So for me, that does make sense. The Onyx is kind of being replaced with the premium trim, and we'll get into that here next because you're still going to have the ability to get some of the features that you would get on the Onyx, which I'm personally a fan of because I have the 2023 Outback Onyx myself. So now the premium trim, it appears it's not going to come with cloth interior. It's going to have the StarTex interior, that water repellent interior that Subaru has had for a few years now. I think it works really well. It's easy to keep clean, especially if you have children and pets. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check that upholstery out. But anyways, it's going to have, the premium's going to have that interior and dark gray 18-inch alloy wheels. So the premium is now going to come standard with the 18-inch alloy wheels. It's going to come standard with keyless entry with push button start. You used to have to get the optional package to get these things. Blind spot detection with the rear cross traffic alert. The distraction mitigation system, which is a little alert if you're not paying attention while you're driving. The wide angle eyesight, that's the third camera in the windshield of your eyesight, the forward collision automatic braking system. The 12.3-inch digital cluster that we just saw on the Forester hybrid is going to be added to this Subaru Outback this year. That'll be nice for those who want a digital display, and you can also display your navigation up there, so that's kind of nice. The 12.1-inch multimedia system. So Subaru's had the 11.6-inch vertical oriented display for the last 5-6 model years. Now we're getting it flipped horizontal, so it's going to be a horizontal orientation, and they are bringing back the physical HVAC control. So I know a lot of people are really excited about that for this new model. Now for the optional package on the premium, you can get the premium package 13. That's the optional package that's being offered, which will include the wireless charger, the power moonroof, the heated steering wheel, which is interesting. That's never been offered on the premium trim, the rain sensing wipers. And this is interesting because the rain sensing wipers have never yet been available on the Outback. This has only been available previously on the Ascent and the Touring trim. So really cool to see this being added. The starting MSRP without destination and delivery on this new Outback is $34,995. Or if you get that optional package, it's an additional $2,270. Now, if you factor in destination and delivery, you're looking at about $1,450, which puts your MSRP with destination and delivery at $36,445. Something important to note here when you're comparing the price of the 2026 to the previous generation 2025 is that there was a base trim in 2025, but there is not a base trim in 2026. So if you just compare the starting price, it's not an equal comparison. To give a more apples to apples comparison, you want to take the 2025 Outback Premium and compare it to the 2026 Outback Premium, which in this case, to make a more equal comparison, we are going to look at the Premium Package 13. That was about a $1,400 package in 2025 that added your blind spot detection, your power rear gate, and your push button start. And we're going to compare that to the entry level 2026 Premium, which includes those features as a default. So whenever we compare those two, the price on a 2025 Outback Premium with that package 13, or the MSRP, I should say, with destination delivery is $35,880 compared to the now $36,445 MSRP with destination delivery, putting us at just a difference of $565. In fairness, when you move up in trim level, you do start to see a greater difference in pricing. As an example, when we look at the 2026 Subaru Outback Limited, the starting price with destination delivery, the MSRP is $43,165, about a $2,000 increase from the previous generation. But something that we easily forget is that these aren't identical vehicles. This is not just a refresh, a mid-cycle refresh. This is a complete overhaul with the Outback. This is a new generation and they've changed quite a bit on this new model. Just to give you some highlights, we've talked about the interior space has completely been revamped. We've got new seats, we have new technology with the touchscreen displays, the digital gauge cluster instead of the analog cluster, and then you look back at things like the size of the vehicle. The interior space and the cargo space has been increased in comparison to previous generations. And that's just scratching the surface. Once you dig into the details, you start to see quite a few differences from this year compared to last year. I'll make a video in the future, kind of like I've done in the past, where I go through each trim level and talk about what comes standard, what's optional, and what's added as you move up in the hierarchy of the trim line. So stay tuned for that. I'll post that in the future. So the Wilderness trim is seeing probably the most changes this year. We see a full revamp and the redesign like we've seen for the other 7th generation Outback, but we are getting more luxury options. So as an example, you get the rain sensing wipers standard on the Wilderness. You get the wireless charger, but if you go up in packages, you're going to get the navigation, the power moonroof, and the surround view monitor. And then there's a third package you can get for the Wilderness that's going to add the Napa leather interior. So this is a first for the Wilderness. The ventilated front seats, so you've got the air conditioned front seats, as well as a 12-way power driver's seat, and the cushion leg extension for the Wilderness. This is something that people have asked for because it's been previously on the Limited and the Touring. Now we're getting it for the Wilderness. It adds some nice support for those who have longer legs. Some other cool features that are first time being offered on the Wilderness are going to be the electronically controlled dampers, so you can adjust your suspension. I'm not sure how this is going to work yet, but that's an interesting addition. As well as on the rear hatch, I thought it was just a styling enhancement, but if you look on the rear hatch, there is an area, they call it the gear rest, on the power rear gate. So you can, I think the idea is that you would be able to lay your skis or your snowboard on the back of the hatch while you're loading things up if you're going to the mountains. We are also getting some new color offerings. So a lot of people have already seen this one, but the deep emerald green pearl, that came out, that was announced in April at the New York Auto Show. So we've seen pictures of that already. The river rock pearl, this has only ever been offered on the Forester. So here's a picture of the Forester to show you what that looks like. But now it's going to be available on the Outback. And then sapphire blue pearl. This has been offered on some of our other vehicles in the past, like the Crosstrek and the Forester. Now it's going to be available on the Outback for the first time. And it does appear that the autumn green and our cosmic blue are being removed from this new 2026 Subaru Outback. Overall, I'm really excited for this new generation of Outback. I know there's been some bold changes in the styling, but I think like with any new generation, a new update, we're going to come to love it. And so far, I'm really liking what's being offered on the new trim line. Can't wait to get my hands on one and actually drive one. If you work for Subaru and there's an opportunity to drive one before it gets here, please reach out to me. I would love the opportunity to do so. But anyways, I'm really excited nonetheless. I hope you all are too. I'm really excited for this new premium trim level offering, being an entry level trim level and having the features and the amount of equipment on it at a competitive price. I think that's really interesting to see. I'm excited to see that and hope you all are too. Anyways, Hope you enjoyed this video and appreciate the information I shared today. If you did, please remember to like the video down below and comment with any questions you have.